This is the Lockpicker 1969, and welcome to my channel, and welcome to the next episode of Interview with a Lockpicker. Today's guest is Grouchy Lenny. Say hi.
Hey everyone.
So, where are you from?
I live in Central Illinois. Originally from Maryland. Spent a little time in Catskills of New York.
Okay. So, what does your name mean? I mean, Grouchy Lenny.
Yeah. So Lenny is a nickname I got in middle school. I made a friend with a guy through a war game club at school, and I went over to his house to play some squad leader. And his older brother refused to learn any of his little brother's friends' names. So instead, he assigned you one based on what he thought you looked like, and he thought I looked like a Lenny. So that kind of stuck, and it's a nickname I fell back on every now and then, even after school, just for fun. And originally, I started doing YouTube. I had some friends who were interested in video games, but they did not play video games. They were interested in kind of the lore and the setting. So I would do some videos for them and put them on YouTube. And one of them thought should make them more public. So I noticed some people were watching the videos that I had not originally intended to. So I thought, well, yeah, I could do a little video game channel or something. And since I'm kind of older, I figured most of the audience would probably be like younger, 20s or something like that. So I adopted Grouchy on top just because I was like the grouchy old man in the group. So yeah, it just
Okay.
kind of stuck, and then I stopped doing the video game videos, and when I started getting into lock sport, I just kept the name. And
Sure. Hey, it's established. So, how and when did you get into lock sport, though?
um, well, initially, I guess I could say when I was about 8 or 9, I found like one of those little jewelry box locks. Um, I don't know if it was off one of my mom's jewelry boxes or whatever, but I'd seen some secret agent film or detective film or something where someone picked a lock, so I grabbed a paper clip, bent it, filled it around. It's just one of those cheap warded blocks, and I popped it open and thought that was pretty cool. So that became like a little trick for me to entertain myself.
Okay.
Then later, when I got my car, is the old '79 Plymouth. Back then you could take a wire hanger. Well, back then you had wire hangers, but you could take a wire hanger and bend it and jimmy the lock open on the through the window. And so I had locked my keys in my car one time, and not wanting to pay to get someone to extract it, I managed to do that. And this was before I got into lock sport and before I knew about rule number 2, so wouldn't do
Yeah.
that today. But a buddy of mine worked graveyard shift at a gas station that was on the highway to the ocean. So during the summertime, there'd be a lot of traffic coming through late at night, and I'd hang out there after working second shift at a factory. I'd hang out and shoot the bull for the evening, and I got to put that to use a couple times, helping people who, were in a hurry to rush in and use the bathroom or something and lock their keys in the car.
Okay,
So
cool.
then it wasn't like decades later.
Hmm.
Uh, I was at a cybersecurity conference and they had a lockpicking village.
When was that?
So that was 2023.
Okay.
So I eavesdropped on that a little bit. I was kind of in a rush, and it was the first conference my office sent me to, so I had kind of a tight schedule. I didn't want to fool around too much on my own amusement. I wanted to make sure I hit all the panels that I wanted to hit. So I watched for a few minutes and then moved on, but I thought it was really cool. And at the end of the conference, they were announcing the winners. They had a contest where people wore those kaleidoscope glasses and had to pick deadbolt locks. And so they were timed and they were announcing the winners. I thought that's pretty cool.
That's an
And
interesting
then
challenge.
yeah, I thought it kind of amused me. And it kind of took a little bit of the sinister element. You know what I mean? There's kind of a stigma, I think, to lockpicking from people who don't know that it's a legitimate sport.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, so it kind of removed that for me. 'Cause it just seemed like more fun.
Okay.
And then roughly about a year after that, I was just surfing the YouTube train and I came across a video by a lockpicking lawyer.
Okay.
And then shortly after that, Lady Locks, Sandman, Bosnian Bill. A couple of those channels I just kind of came across and watched out of curiosity. And then I forget how, but somehow I stumbled across lock sport, the term lock sport,
Yeah.
and the definition. And I was like, okay, now that's something I can get into.
Yep.
It's something where people want to practice it legally, ethically,
It's
and
kind of
have fun with it. And
it's a softer term for
exactly,
people
yeah,
to accept. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, lockpicking has a certain kind of negative connotation,
Yes, it
and
does.
but lock sport is different. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So so yeah, I once I saw that, it was like, oh, I got to get in on this. This sounds right up my alley, and yeah, went from there. So
Okay. So, how did you wind up with your first lockpick set, and what was it?
um, so yeah, I did not do the usual route of the Amazon Chinesium sets.
Okay, good.
I I was watching YouTube videos and I came across Sandman, and he actually did a comparison of some beginner sets.
Okay.
And he was doing reviews, and he had mentioned the FNG from Covert Instruments. And at the time, it was priced $10, and it was like, wow, I get all the tools I need to get started, and a little clear practice lock, which I like because I could see what's going on inside. I'm always fascinated by mechanical things and how they work. I'm not really mechanically adept, but I'm interested in seeing how things work and learning how things work. So, from the FNG, I picked up a Sparrow's monkey paw. I'd heard about Sparrows, so I picked up a monkey paw and a couple little tools from them, um, some turning tools and gutting tools, and then I got to
Yeah,
from there probably
you
went
mentioned
to
the
Jimmy Long's.
well, you mentioned the echelon set.
Oh, that's right. I picked up the Echelon set.
How'd you like that?
On It was nice. It added a lot of tools, of a little narrower than the little narrower profile than the F and G set, which is the 25,000s.
Yep.
So it added a lot of nice tools. Added some tools I had no idea what to do with at the time. So, but I just stuck with the basic hooks and rakes that it
Yep.
provided and the turning tools. And then I kept hearing everyone buzz about Jimmy Long's, Jimmy
Oh yeah.
Long's, and he had just launched the V5 set. And I was sitting in the laundromat. Our washer and dryer had broken, so we were in the laundromat, and I was flipping through my phone, and I pulled up his website, and he had just released the V5s that day. So I was able to get one of the uh, order from that first batch of the V5s, and yeah, I fell in love with those once I got them. So
Cool.
they were just the most comfortable and really well made and
Yeah.
incredibly reasonably priced. So
Have you picked up anything else since?
since, yes, I won a giveaway by Nickbit, and he gave away a Moki Workshop gift certificate.
Oh, cool.
So I bought a minimalist set with that. Also, really like their picks. They're very polished and
Oh yeah.
smooth. It's a different experience. Um, I like them as well as the Jimmy Longs.
Yeah.
They seem a little more bendy, and and that's probably mostly my fault. I'm kind of heavy-handed, but
Okay.
they're
So,
very nice. So,
what kinds of challenges did you face when you were learning?
well, early on, the white belt locks and yellow belt locks and orange belt locks came really easy. Um, so I was feeling a little confident. Then I wanted to go to green belt, and for some reason it just stuck in my head. I wanted to learn the American 1100. I don't know if I'd heard something about it or just
Mm-hmm.
like the look of it. I don't recall, but in my head, I was bound and determined to make the American 1100 my green belt.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to get into Locksport and not hear about the 1100.
So
So,
yeah, it's just seems like equally loved and hated.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
and I had such a hard time. It was like hitting a brick wall at that point. Um, so that was the big challenge, and I ended up really diving deep onto videos that lock sporters had done on the American 1100, especially Fish Picks and Lady Locks did some fantastic
Yes,
videos.
definitely.
That they were the ones that kind of helped me break through, even though I partially went counter to their advice. Um, I tension more with the medium firm tension than I do with the light. Uh, and I've had more success with that with the 1100s.
Mhm. Well, it's got a decent spring in it, so.
Yeah, it's I I was like the tension spring in the actuator spring in the 1100s and the Packlock 90s
Mhm.
and the Masterlock 6835 Pro series. I like those heavy tension actuator springs, so
Mhm.
I tend to lean into that. And being heavy-handed, it kind of works better for me, just more natural. But I need to unlearn that now
Yeah.
for higher level security locks.
I think
But
it's a light to heavy approach, in my opinion. But
yeah,
start out light, and if you're feeling pins setting, then you're good to go, and just keep increasing until you're feeling that. So, but
so yeah,
so
it's
go ahead.
it's the 1100's its own experience. It really is.
Mhm.
I kind of liken it to the Jeeps of the lock sport world, because you have your sports car locks, you have your luxury car locks, and you have your jalopies and stuff. But I feel like the 1100's a Jeep.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. It depends on the Jeep too. Anyway, um, so you mentioned also that you're still bitch picking. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, that goes with the heavy-handed thing, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
something I need to work on. But yeah, I just kind of go pin to pin and work through it. I don't do the counting of pins in my head. That's something I would like to work on, is visualizing exactly what I'm doing
yeah.
better. I'm mostly just going by feel at this point. So
Okay. So I want to talk a little bit about, because you spent time on YouTube learning about some of the other pickers and spent some time to really kind of pick up from them, but eventually you got into the community, I would assume, and that you learned about, that's how you probably learned about the LPU belt ranking system. But how did you get introduced to the community?
um, I was watching a Lady Locks live stream. It was one of the probably like the second or third one I watched, and I wasn't real active in the chat because everyone knows each other, and I'm a little bit of an introvert. But I enjoyed watching people chat and watching the banter and the community there. And she does these swag giveaways. And one week, C Stu Do was the guest picker on, and he was doing the swag giveaway for like stickers and poker chips and things. And the idea of collecting stickers and poker chips really feeds my little goblin hoarding brain. Um, so I went ahead and entered, and I actually got lucky and won that. So Stu had sent me out a package, and he sent poker chip and stickers and locks and stuff. And we got in touch so he could get my address, and chatted back and forth a little, and have since struck up a friendship. And he was very welcoming, and you know he gave me shout outs and things like that. Over time, I sent him some stuff, and he was giving me shout outs and helping people find my channel. So yeah, that was kind of it. And from there, I just, once I started talking to him, I started talking to other people. And again, it's just a fantastic community.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, that was my introduction. So,
Okay. Is there anything about yourself you'd like our audience to know?
yeah, I thought about this question, and I guess the only thing is like, I guess it kind of brings up like interesting trivia about myself or whatever. So, probably the most interesting thing is I spent 2 years in a Zen Buddhist monastery.
Okay.
That's one of the time I was in New York. So that's kind of my interesting trivia. I was kind of in a point in my life where I had been working construction, was injured, so I wasn't able to continue doing that. Um, and I was probably in a crowd and getting into stuff I shouldn't have been getting into at the point. I was pretty young, and then my mom found out about this monastery. She had visited with like a retreat, a spiritual retreat group,
Mm-hmm.
and she talked to the vice abbot there, and he was like, "Yeah, we take students, and if he'd be interested in joining, we'll teach him about Zen Buddhism. We'll put him to work, and give him some structure in his life." And So I went ahead and joined and enjoyed it so much I stuck around for 2 years. I started out working on the wood crew is how they put me to work. So the whole building was an old building that was wood heated furnaces.
Okay.
So they had to have a wood crew going around the clock, not around the clock, around the year to store up enough wood to get through the winter. So it was up in the mountains.
Oh, okay.
And I started out there and ended up running the kitchen. So
Okay. Cool.
kind of interesting journey there. But it gave me the structure and time I needed to get my head on straight and get
Good.
myself pointed into a better direction in life. So
Definitely. Okay, so we mentioned before that you got into the community and you were exposed to you said you went through the first early belts pretty quickly. So what belts are you at right now?
I'm still green. I've got my blue belt lock picked on camera, and I'm picking pack locks. Um, but I need to do my challenge lock to get my
Okay.
blue belt. I decided I want to do a challenge lock, not the other projects. It's just kind of again I get these things stuck in my head, and that's just the way I go. And I'm not in a big hurry, so I just want to do it the way I want to do it. Um, so yeah, I'm working on the challenge lock. But to be honest, I got my green belt in early February 2025, and picking American 1100s. I had a 6835 Pro Series Master Lock I was able to pick. Um, I got an Ace 38 millimeter brass lock I was able to pick. Master Lock 410 Lottos got a couple I was able to pick. But I had Avis 7240s that I could not make any progress with. It was driving me crazy, and I felt kind of deprived, and I felt kind of like a phony because everyone's talking about they love the Avis 7240. I think
Yeah.
in Greenbelt a lot of people break to 1100, a lot of people break to the Avis 7240s because they're
Yeah.
kind of different ends of the spectrum is the picking experience. And I am happy to say just a few weeks back, probably like 3 or 4 weeks ago, I was able to get my first Avis 7240.
Awesome.
Figured out the tensioning, figured out I was coming in way too tight off the warding rather than coming in from the bottom of the keyway with the pick. Um,
Well, they do have
so
two different keyways. You know that, right? One that looks almost like the word Abus, and there's another one that comes with a regular keyway on it.
okay, now all the 7240s I have the regular keyway,
Okay. You might want to seek
but I
out the other one because it's a little bit of a different challenge.
yeah I picked up a couple Brady Lotto locks that
Yep.
Avis makes the core for, and those have the Avis name keyway. And those are new. I have yet to get one of those.
Yeah.
But now that I got the 7240s, I kind of finally feel like a green belt. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I'm
So
kind of glad I didn't rush, and that's kind of the approach I'm taking with the belt line now. I think I think I'm just going to kind of take my time and really feel like I understand like kind of various locks on a belt, so I kind of understand the experience.
okay, so
So
before we started recording, though, you told me a little bit about what you're doing to move in the direction of having the shop to work on your Blue Belt CL. Can you talk about that a little bit?
yeah, our garage has kind of become a storage and stuff, and the kids had a lot of. My son had drum set out there, and um, we ended up getting some different furniture. So there's still some old furniture out in the garage. So we're in the process of getting that all cleared out, and I got a workbench in. So I'm hoping this week the last of the junk will be hauled out of there, and I can get that workbench set up and start working on challenge locks. I've been reading a lot on the challenge locks and listening to a lot of the active challenge lock makers in our community, trying to learn some things. And I'm sure, like I said, I'm not really adept at machine work, so I'm sure my first attempts are going to be just awful. but uh,
You'll catch it
but yeah,
quick.
yeah, I want to get into it and give it a try. Make 3 or 4 of them, see how it feels, and if it's something I really enjoy, I'll probably end up doing more of that in the future.
Hey, I have a bunch of videos on making pins. Check them out.
We'll do. We'll do.
So you
So.
have picked some challenge locks, though. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, I have. I won a giveaway last winter from Crow Llama, lockpicking llama out of Croatia. Fantastic guy, and he sent me his first and second challenge locks. Um, he sent me the first one to pick, and he wanted to see it circulated in the U.S. And then the second one he gifted me. The first one's called Kittens, and the second one's called Malice in Wonderland, which I love because I'm a huge Alice in Wonderland fan.
Okay.
I love all the little logic riddles and things like that in the book. Um, so unfortunately, like a terrible, terrible lock sporter, I sat on them for months. I was a little intimidated to start picking them, and then I had some personal issues and stuff that kind of got in the way of. Stopped doing videos for a while and stopped picking for a few months in there as I dealt with some personal issues and family health issues. But then I finally got back to it, and I did a live stream for Lockjaw Manufacturing. Did the Night Watch challenge
Okay.
where you have to do a live stream, and I've always been intimidated to do a live stream, but I finally did one for the Night Watch, and just on a whim, I grabbed his first challenge lock and started working on that, and actually got the open.
Okay.
Um, so I was pretty psyched about that, and I, immediately started arranging to get the lock out to someone else and get it circulating through the community. Because that's kind of the beauty of challenge locks, I think, is not just making them or picking them, but the fact that they kind of cycle through the community and everyone gets to enjoy them, and it
Yeah.
kind of becomes shared. Because you buy a Master Lock 140, I buy a Master Lock 140, and there's similarities,
Yep.
but they're very different. They're not the
Yep.
same
They're not
lock.
identical, no.
Right. And with challenge locks, you by and large get that experience where it is the same lock and you're sharing it and you're watching other people pick it and then you're picking it, and it's just kind of a really nice element to the lock sport
Shared
community and lock
experience.
sport. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
So,
your YouTube channel, what you said the original reason for it was for video games. What do you see as the future of your channel?
um, so one of the things that kind of stopped me making videos last spring, I had kind of set expectations on myself as to I'm going to get so many videos out on a certain time frame.
Yeah.
Um, and that doesn't work well with my
No.
brain. I had some mental health challenges. I had some work issues come up, and like I said, a family member had some health issues, so I had to travel a fair amount for that last year. Um, so that was just one of the contributing factors to me. So when I came back, I said to myself, I'm just going to make videos at my whim. I'll make silly videos. I'll make, if I can, I'll make informative as I learn more about things, and just kind of have fun with it. So I don't have a strict schedule anymore. I'm just kind of making things as I want and sharing them, and I don't really have a huge focus now. I do want to do something here soon that I hope will be fun for the community. Kind of inspired by the Lockjaw Manufacturing Pack Leader Challenge, where you have to, well, you don't have to. You can either do it by yourself or you can get together a team of 3 people. But I'd like to do something where I'm kind of getting teams of people together um,
Mm-hmm.
to do things. So I'll be
Okay.
announcing that probably in about a week here. So
Okay. So you mentioned a little bit about it earlier with talking about the conference that you went to, but what do you do for a living?
I'm in IT. I'm IT manager for a small to medium business, and I have to dabble in. Unfortunately, I think everyone in IT in the recent years has to dabble in cybersecurity and have a good
Yes.
understanding of that.
Yeah.
So I've had to learn a lot about cybersecurity in the past 5 years. Um,
Particularly,
before,
I was going to say,
yeah,
particularly lately with AI. Yeah.
oh yeah, yeah. I mean, 15 years ago, if you had good passwords in an antivirus program, you were solid.
Yeah.
But it's not like that anymore. You have to have
No.
endpoint security, you have to have firewall, intrusion prevention, detection, all kinds of stuff. It's crazy
Yeah.
what you need to do these days. But
There's a lot more government regulations around all of it too. So
yeah, yeah.
depending on what
So
industry you're in, but
yeah, I can't really talk about my industry. Well,
uh, uh,
it's not I'm not like super secret or anything like that.
no,
It's just
no. I
they pay me to be paranoid, so that's what
Yeah,
I
I can talk about mine. I work in finance and banking, and it's intensive. So,
am.
okay, so we talked a little bit about your hobbies and interests. There were two that you brought up that I want to go into. You mentioned that you were into guitar. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I dabbled. I got to be honest. I'm real rusty now. I'm way out of practice. I've not played as much since the pandemic as I used to.
Okay.
But yeah, I got into guitar about 18 years ago or so. Um, I decided I wanted. It's an instrument I was always interested in learning to play, and I took lessons with that and play around a little. Actually, I kind of do more bass than guitar towards the end. My son played drums in school, so I learned bass just so we could kind of like get together and groove, in the garage, get him kind of practicing drums more, and it
Yeah.
was fun for me. So,
Cool.
uh, we get together and just lay down some rhythms. So,
Very cool. All right. So we share guitar as an interest and a passion for me, anyways, and sounds like it was a passion for you. But you also
yeah,
mentioned miniatures, which is near and dear to my heart.
yeah, I do tabletop gaming in general and
Yep.
have for decades. I was played the first edition D&D, AD&D, back in the day, and the original, probably like second edition Warhammer Fantasy,
Mm-hmm.
back in like the mid '80s. Got into BattleTech, so I
Yep.
played a lot of that. But yeah, I was outrider for Games Workshop for a few years in the late '90s, um, helping them. But it was around when they launched the Lord of the Rings miniatures game, so I was doing a lot of demos of Lord of the Rings and Warhammer 40K. Uh, so yeah, I collected and painted miniatures. Again, that's another one that Lock Sport's kind of taken more of my attention away from. But
Yeah.
every now and then I'll break out the brushes and paint something, and every now and then I get together with some friends and play something. So
It really does take your mind off of other things. I mean, lock picking does that too, but
yeah,
because I've spent the last few decades playing miniature tabletop games as well and running games for people, and that's for hobby stores. So I definitely, you and I have a very similar path in our past with regard to that. So I loved hearing about that. So I'd like to get into, do you have any thank yous that you'd like to give to any other lock sporters?
oh wow, man, just I'm afraid I'm gonna miss some names. I just like to thank the community in general first and foremost. It's just really a welcoming and friendly and supportive community. It is one where people would just love to see new pickers get in, and they love to see other pickers succeed and
Yeah,
progress. And
definitely.
it's really fantastic. And I love being part of that and being able to cheer people on and help provide information. I'm still a newbie, so I can't do as much of that, but I try where I can. And then I'd like to thank, you know, the other kind of general thanks I like to give is to the LPU and to Tool. um,
Okay.
just for being organizations that help support the community. I mean, as far as I know, they're not like big profit organizations or anything, largely volunteers, and they're out there, providing some framework and fun challenges and things like that, and providing some of the resources for the community to connect and bond over. And then as far as individuals, wow, Lady Locks, absolutely a pillar of the community and getting people together and helping introduce people to lock sport. Um, I love what C Studio is doing with the Mitten Maid, and again, he's just been big connection for me as far as cheer me on, introduce me people, and
Mm-hmm.
the community. GK Man and Chuck Soup deserve big shout outs because on tons of live streams, those guys are the moderators and they're behind the scenes working to weed out negativity and the toxic kind of stuff. Because you do those live streams and all kinds of randos pop in, and a lot of them just don't have anything positive to add, so they do something negative.
Yeah.
So big shout out to the people who are kind of working behind the scenes on that. Um, and then
To get rid of the trolls. Yeah.
exactly, yeah,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
they help kind of guard the community and I think it's fantastic. It helps keep everything just a enjoyable place to be.
It's a very well policed, and I use that term fairly, fairly policed
Yeah,
community, and that has been awesome. Awesome.
yeah. And Elijah Carney's another one who does a lot of that, the moderating and stuff, and just super friendly guy, really nice guy. He's the indigenous lockpicker. He goes by.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, I mean, I think they're. I think those are all pillars of the community to me. The people who kind of help bring the community together and create the structure and the
Yeah.
words eluding me now, but like the meeting ground, I guess.
Hmm.
and protect it, and just keep it a fun, positive place to be.
Definitely.
Um, and then, man, I can't even remember all the names I'd like to shout out for sharing their knowledge, on the locks. Marson. Uh, there's some channels that kind of stopped before I started, like Fish Picks and Artichoke 2000, I think.
Hmm.
Um, Bosnian Bill.
Yeah.
You know, then there's Lock Noob and DMAC, and Lockpicking Engineer. Um, just all these channels. Again, I'm missing names, and I feel horrible because I've tapped into so many over the years who shared
Yeah.
their knowledge and
There's a lot.
information. Yeah, over the year, I guess. But yeah, there's so much information out there. I love kind of inhaling the information, and it's just fantastic that these other lockpickers who know so much more. You mentioned Chris Capoon too. We were talking about. Um, yeah, there's just yeah, I can't shout out enough thank yous, to be honest. It's
Yeah.
pretty much I appreciate everyone I interact with in the community because
Sure.
everyone's brought something.
Yeah.
Everyone's brought something to the camaraderie. They brought knowledge. They brought kind of cheering people on and moral
Yes.
support and things like that. So, I think I have to thank everyone in the community because everyone has brought something enriching the experience. So,
Okay. Good. All right. Last question before we wrap up.
okay.
What is your favorite thing about Locksport? And I know you just went through talking about the community, so
Well, it's kind of a two-parter. Um, One is that Locksport is so different to everyone. Your Locksport journey
yes.
is unique to you, and it's not just picking locks. It's and not just the most common thing is the pin tumbler, or, but there's people who really get into the dimple pin tumblers. People get into disc detainers. People get into the warded locks, the lever locks. Then you can get into making challenge locks. In the whole challenge lock community, there's people who make tools.
Key
I know
impressioning.
key impressioning.
Hmm.
Yeah, even people who like make like Phantasm Enterprises and making cases. For the
Yeah.
lockpick tools, people
Yep.
are 3D printing. You got 44 Delta and a bunch of people who are 3D printing vises and
Yep.
following plugs. There's people who are doing antique locks, and sharing their knowledge and history about the antique locks and things like that. There's people who are doing cutaway locks. It's just such, once you get into it generally through lockpicking, but once you do, then people bring a lot of their other talents to bear and their other strengths to bear, and really explore it in different venues. And everyone's journey is different. Everyone, some people are doing the belt system, some people are just picking locks, whatever they enjoy picking. They don't care about the belt system. It's whatever works best for each person. So
Yeah.
it's this huge group of people in this hobby doing everything differently,
Hmm.
doing their own journey. But then the second part is it's that community that still is working together and sharing their knowledge and sharing their strengths, and working together to kind of help each other out along the way, even though we're on different journeys. You got the belt people and the non-belt people, and the non-belt people, that's not for me, but they still enjoy cheering on the people who are doing the belt system.
Yeah. So
And likewise, the people doing the belt system can watch the non-belt people, and they're like, "Wow, this guy is just doing really tough locks, really without a belt system to motivate, just the pure enjoyment of picking those locks." So
yeah. So I think a lot of people make the mistake, and I'll make this statement. I guess you can call it that. A lot of people choose to say, "Okay, I'm pursuing my black belt," and they make that their destination instead of looking at the whole thing as a journey. Enjoy the journey because the destination doesn't matter as much as what you experience along the way.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
definitely.
agreed. So I'm doing the belts, but I'm not. I don't want to rush it. I just want to do it
Exactly.
as I
Yeah.
enjoy it, and when I feel like I'm really a blue belt, and I'm gonna start. I got some medicos I'm gonna start on for purple, but I still want to work with blue belt a lot. I still don't feel like I've really. I don't know if you ever master a lock, but I don't feel I've got the competency level I want with like the pack locks. I want to get opening those a little faster, a little more consistently. Um, and then I want to move on, and I've got some SFIC I'm trying to play with. I'm trying to work on getting those picked to you know
Aw, come on.
opening and control, and
Broad,
so
broaden your horizons a little bit for purple. Consider doing dimple locks.
okay. I just got a huck set last week.
There you
I got
go.
my Huck dimple tools. I picked up from Lockjaw. I picked up the green to purple dimple set,
Perfect.
and then I've got a couple other dimple locks that I think are green. So that is something I'm gonna. That is a path I definitely want to go down, is learning
Okay.
dimple. I mean, eventually I'd like to do it all.
Yeah.
And God willing, I'll have the ability to do so. Be able to enjoy this hobby for years, and progress and enjoy this community. So.
Okay. Good. Do you have a final message you'd like to give to our audience?
If you're in the community, you already know how great it is. If you're doing videos, you already know how rewarding and how much fun that can be. If you're already done interviews with Lockpicker 1969, you know it's a lot of fun and good time talking. If you haven't yet, please do. Get involved in the
Oh,
community. Get
thank you.
involved in the group chat. Talk to Lockpicker 969. Get an interview, because that lets the community know a little more about you. Lets them kind of feel, you might end up discussing other interests. I know I didn't realize there were so many gaming nerds in the hobby
Yep.
until I heard their interviews, and now I razz them about World of Warcraft, and we should get a Lockpicker D&D game going on one of these days. Although we'd all be rogues, but
Yeah.
but yeah, get involved. If you haven't done videos, do video for Getaway. My first Locksport video was actually Bumpy Bones Locksport's giveaway, his 125 subscriber giveaway, I think it was. And once I did that, then I kind of felt like, hey, this is kind of fun. And, I was a little more comfortable throwing it out there. Like I said, I'm kind of an introvert, but it was a little more fun, a little more comfortable throwing it out there than I thought it would be. It was more fun than I thought it would be. So, maybe try making some videos, if you can. And if not, get into live chats, get involved, get chatting with people. Not everyone in the community uh, does content creation, but they're still involved. A lot of them just do videos for belt system or whatever, but they're still involved in the community, still chatting, still on the Discord, the Reddit. So just get involved. If you haven't done it, do it, because it's a really rewarding experience. So
I want to thank you. I've enjoyed doing this interview, and the pre-interview was a lot of fun to talk because you took me down probably 3 decades worth of memory lane, talking about miniatures and gaming and all that stuff because I spent a lot of time doing that, and
well, I had a great time.
I thank you for
I
that.
had a great
Yeah,
time talking with you too. Yeah, and definitely we should, definitely we can get together. I've gotten together with other lock sporters in person or whatever, or we can just chat. I do chats, but yeah, I really enjoyed speaking with you. I'd definitely like to speak to you more. So
we should definitely have you up and into the studio to do a live part 2 interview at some point.
yeah, I do get kind of not too far from your neck of the woods on an annual basis. So
Mhm.
yeah, we can talk about that in the future,
That
definitely.
and maybe get
So
to get some of the other Michigan lock sporters like G. Keyman and C. Stu Do and Broke and I think Elroy's Toys. They're all in Michigan also.
nice, nice. Yeah, yeah. We'll
So
have to do something sometime. So.
I had no idea I was surrounded by so many Michiganders. All right. With that,
I wish I had that problem in Illinois, but everyone's in Chicago. It's too far for me. So
okay. So with that, I'm going to wrap this one up. If you are a subscriber, thank you. If you are not yet a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications and all, and hit like on the video. And thanks for listening.